In order.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Press Plate Lifestyle Inspired podcast, where we do interviews with inspiring or interesting people like my new friend here, John. And we do all that for our listeners to help you find the resources, tools, or support you might need to be your best inspired self. So how are you today, John?
Okay, Jackie. I'm hanging in there.
You are hanging in there. It was super nice. We got to chit chat a little bit before this. I actually really dig your vibe. So I went out, and luckily your agent, I think I don't know if that's a representative or whoever, he sent us a clip of the single, Rainbows and Lightning. And what a fun little mix of, I mean, even the video is really fun. It reminds me of some music I grew up with. So, you've just released in like the end of 2019, right? Love, Lust, and Other Wreckage. You've got all kinds of musical greatness going on. So like, what's the newest stuff for John Vento?
Well, yeah, the album we released toward the end of 2019. Actually, no, in early 2019. I apologize. But we were awarded the Independent Americana Album of the Year, which was very cool.
Very cool.
And just today, we released another single called Well Yeah Maybe. And so it's time to move on to some other new music. But so we're kind of milking that project with just probably a few more singles. And the project is thematic. It's about relationships, adult relationships, and the struggles that go with that.
Yeah, because you have the most current was, you have one out there, I Hope I Don't Fall in Love with You, and a couple others, right? So a whole lot of...
Yeah. Every song is in this, and even Rainbows and Lightning, which I thank you for your kind compliments, is a song about, that struggle, and when you have that relationship and how it can be just beautiful and all wonderful colors. And then out of nowhere, a lightning bolt can just strike and blow it all up.
Yeah.
So even, like I said, there's 13 tracks, and every one of them deal with relationships. And what spun out of that was also a stage play of the same title.
Oh, very cool. The Rainbows and Lightning stage play?
No. Love, Lust, and Other Wreckage, the album.
Oh, nice.
The stage play was created out of the music.
So it sounds like you're, so I guess we skipped ahead because I was super into the music, but why don't you give everyone a little intro of who you are and where you're from, and, how all this great music came to be?
Well, I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and I kind of got involved with music much later in life than the average bear. So I'm currently 58 years old. Well, I just turned 59. I'm not going to lie about my age.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, thanks. So where I am in my musical maturity is where a lot of people are in their mid-30s. A lot of artists that mature and develop with the craft. So the past 7, 8, or 9 years for me have been really, really fruitful because like anything, it takes time to develop your voice and develop your art. But I've been blessed to just be surrounded with some great collaborators because I can't do it on my own. And actually prefer not to do it on my own. I have great musicians and singers and artists and writers that have shared their talent with me, and that's my blessing and the thing I'm most thankful for when it comes to my music. So, and I'm a business owner, and also I'm a fanatical gardener, which is probably my number one passion in life. I have an addiction, and it's a very costly addiction.
Okay.
I like to get my hands dirty, and I love my flowers and my gardening. It's a huge part of my life.
I love that. Like I have an older brother, not by very much, and the life has been a little difficult for him. He was a carpenter, journeyman painter kind of guy, and we're in our 40s now, and so he reached out to me. He actually went to school for horticulture, right? But he never really did anything with it other than loving it. And he said, with all this current world stuff going on, he and my other sister, who they live together in Michigan, they started doing some more organic farming, and he's just he's completely in heaven, probably for the first time in forever, because he really he's good at it and he loves it, and he's that attention and that care. So it's, yeah, it makes a lot of sense that you
And it's
love that.
fun to get your hands dirty. And there's a connection with the earth. You know, I look at my plants and my flowers as living creatures. I really do. I have a relationship with them, and they have a relationship. They love me and I love them. So this is a very exciting time of the year because here in Pittsburgh, you know, our climate's probably like yours.
Yeah, very similar.
You know, things are just starting to grow.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so yeah, that's who I am: business owner and gardener and music guy. You know, just I do all kinds of different things. Very strong ADD component. And then one other thing that I'm probably most proud of is we have an organization here in Pittsburgh that I'm involved with called Band Together Pittsburgh, and we create music programs for young people on the autism spectrum,
Yeah,
and
and
that is
that
so
is
much
so
joy.
cool.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was so glad that you brought that back up. So we did like a little pre-meeting before, obviously before we did the interview, and my audience knows this about me, or at least after all these episodes, I would hope they would. But I have a child I have 4 children, and one of my children's on the autism spectrum, and she's really one of the most interesting human beings in the universe. She's just
Yeah.
next gen smart, but other things not so much, and just like this fun,
Yep.
amazing kid. And her oldest sister is going to high school into the arts program. Like, so it's something that my husband and I'm a computer person and he's an accountant by trade. And we
Mhm.
have all these amazing musical, artistic kids in our life.
Isn't that
So
wonderful? That's great.
yeah, I think it's really cool. So what does your program do? What do you guys?
Well, it's actually multifaceted. My partner, or the co-founder of the organization, is a guy named Moondog, Ron Esser. And we call him Moondog because he owns a blues club here in Pittsburgh. And the way this whole thing started is I had some family friends whose children were musicians and they were on the spectrum, and I invited them to sit in with my band at a gig that we had at Moondog's.
Yeah.
And Moondog shows up for the gig, and after it was over, he said, "What the hell was that? Who are those kids?" So I told him the story I just told you, that we had a drummer and a guitar player and a keyboard player, and they kind of sat in and played a few tunes with our band. And I didn't know it at the time, but he revealed to me that he had a son on the spectrum.
Oh, wow.
So he really obviously loved that and had a personal interest. Well, from that moment on, which was about 4 years ago, we have created what we call a monthly open stage, open mic, where the kids, not just kids, but people of all ages, they come and they perform. Mostly they sing karaoke, or maybe they'll play drums. Some of them have different bands. Some play piano and sing, but it's an autism-friendly open mic. And obviously, because of this virus thing, we've had to cancel 2 of them. So just this week, we launched a virtual open mic where
Yay.
they send us their videos, and I'm going to be the host on video and introduce them, and we're going to create a whole giant video of these performances.
That
So that's one
sounds
program.
so fun.
The second program we have is drum circles, where we therapeutic drum circles and rhythm, and we have professional music therapists that lead us through that. Then another program we have is our DJ program, where we train people on the spectrum to be professional DJs. And we buy all the equipment and we do gigs. We primarily do gigs for other 501c3 charities, and they can make a donation if they like. They don't have to, because we pay our DJs to do the gig. So not only do our DJs get to explore music and have fun and see how much love is created at an event, then they get a paycheck.
Yeah.
And we always mail them their paycheck, because the fun of receiving it in the mail, and they know there's value to what they do.
Yeah.
And then our most recent program that we just launched, and it's come to a screeching halt, unfortunately, is a scholarship program, meaning that if there's someone that's on the spectrum that loves music and they want to explore it, and maybe their family doesn't have the resources to buy a drum kit or a guitar amp or get lessons, we will fund all that and help them get started. And right now we only have 2 scholarships. We would have had a lot more, but all of our fundraising came to a grinding halt and
Mm.
all that stuff. So we've
Well,
got to
it
find a
sounds like
way to,
it'll
it,
come back around.
it will.
It's just a
It,
pause.
it is. It's tough to ask for money. Pardon my French, but I don't have the balls to ask people for money during this period of time when
Yeah.
people are struggling to have food.
Yes.
So that's Band Together Pittsburgh. And you can look us up and see our videos and our photos and our programming. And bandtogetherpgh.org is our website.
That is really awesome.
Yeah,
We'll
it's fun.
definitely make sure we put that in the show notes so that people can
Thanks.
sort of check out what else you're doing, as if what you're doing isn't already enough. So I'm kind of curious. So what was the impetus for Love, Lust, and Other Wreckage? Like, did you have like a really horrible marriage or breakup or
No, no,
something? Or?
I didn't have I mean, I've been divorced for 18 years, so I did not have a horrible marriage. I have a wonderful ex-wife who's the mother of my children, and
Oh,
she's a beautiful woman. And unfortunately, we just got
we're a
divorced,
good
right?
couple, right? Yeah.
Yeah. But there's two things that occurred that triggered the album. One was a prior relationship that I ended because I'm stupid and I'm a man and I'm an asshole at times. And then in an effort, I attempted to try to reconnect and get a second chance. Actually, maybe it was like a fourth chance in that relationship. Um, and then wouldn't you know it, along came kidney cancer, which rocked my world. So there I was after the surgery, and they removed my kidney and all that stuff. And you know, when you have a major organ removed, your body chemistry gets weird, and I went into this dark depression, which I'm sure you can tell by my hyper nature, I really never dealt with. I mean, I've been high energy, optimistic, and here I was in a really, really dark place. And I had so many wonderful visits from friends and family, and then trying to medically deal with this. And I got a visit one day from a friend slash songwriter named Bert Laubel. And we had these conversations, and next thing you know, I'm getting emails from Bert that, hey man, there's songs coming out of this. And I mean, that was the last thing in the world that I was even thinking about. New songs, music, recording, writing. Uh, but Bert just kind of kicked my ass and said, look, this is a time to explore these feelings. And the very first song that we wrote, Baby Blues, and then went to start the recording process, is a song about regret, serious regret, and the pain that one human being can cause another human being through bad decisions, choices, and egotistical behavior. And really the plan was to record a couple, songs. And once we got rolling, and then I started to feel better. And as time went by, we shifted the focus from kind of the negative aspects to optimistic themes. Like you mentioned, rainbows and lightning. We have a song called Humble Way. And then along the way, I discovered a new relationship, which, by the way, I'm getting married later this summer.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, I met a wonderful woman. And so, it was like the whole breadth of the stages of a relationship, just like the stages of grief and renewal, and love, lust, and other wreckage. So that's what triggered the whole thing. And it took about close to 3 years of writing and recording and performing.
Yeah, that's amazing. So it almost sounds like you kind of were in a dark place, and
Oh, yeah.
music kind of helped you come back out of it,
Yep. It
and
did.
then welcomed you back into this new relationship and this new place in
Mm-hmm.
your life. So no
Mm-hmm.
wonder you said you're feeling, pretty blessed. It sounds like you have a lot going for you.
Yeah, I mean, we're so proud of the project. And I say we because I want to mention, Bert Laubel, of course, co-writer, did some great. Bert just, I mean, he drove the lyrics, and then Dave Granati, who was our producer and engineer, and also played 99% of the instruments. And then Shirley Ann Hawk, we wanted a female element, so you hear that female voice when you listen to the music. And um, Cheryl Ann just brought way more than just a singing voice. She co-produced a lot of it, and she contributed with writing. So the four of us kind of made this great team and nurtured our way through the recording process.
Oh,
So
that sounds beautiful. So,
mhm.
I think Michael Stover had told me you got a #1 on iTunes in Canada as well for one of your.
Yeah, Rainbows and Lightning actually reached number 4 in Canada
Oh, okay.
on iTunes, independent iTunes chart. And our Baby Blues video, we have about 265,000 views on Vimeo.
Nice.
So we've had some, as an independent artist, and the IMEA award is Album of the Year. We've just been so humbled and blessed with some recognition. It's very cool. But we didn't do it for that. We did it for us. And I think most art is very selfish. You create it for your own satisfaction and for your own emotional foundation. And if other people dig it and connect with it, that's even better.
Yeah.
But that's not the motivation. We're not out
That's
producing hit
changed.
records. I wish we could produce a hit record. We don't know how to do that yet. But
Oh, yet.
that's right.
Yet in there, right?
Maybe I'll hit the senior citizen circuit with my own hit record someday.
I think Ozzy Osbourne's still out there thinking he can do
Ooh,
stuff, so might as well.
yep.
He was we were actually the Rainbows and Lightning made me think of the Trolls movie just came out for kids, and they're
Oh yeah, right.
the little hard rockers, and
Yeah.
they're dressed up as a hard rock like spies, and they come in, they go, "Rainbows, unicorns, lightning, ah! Don't forget to brush your teeth." And it's just like funny. It's just the funniest part is like almost the same as the title. So
I'll have to look that up.
yeah, it's really funny. It's about, somebody's trying to steal all the types of music, and they realize every music matters, that kind of thing. But it was like rainbows, unicorns, like all things nice.
I will look. Some of those children's movies are the best. Toy Story is one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah, yeah. This is one of those too that was just like they did a solid job of having like adults will get it, subtle
Yeah,
humor. Like
enough little innuendos.
yeah,
Yeah,
where you're like,
yeah,
yeah, I see where that was going,
yeah.
which is
That
awesome.
is so many of the great Disney movies have little adult innuendo that, yeah.
So you mentioned collaborators. So I just wanted to I know the shout out for you because it was mentioned by Michael as well that there's a lot of other people that you brought up too. John Randall Fox, Buddy Hall, Tim
Mm.
Hadley, Frank Ferraro.
Frank Ferraro, yeah, Stu remake,
Uh,
yeah. They're
Amy
all still great
Hartman.
friends. And Amy Hartman, who was the playwright, yeah. Yeah, I could give you a long list. I was kind of focusing specifically on this project, but I'm so blessed. I'm in a band called the Nied's Hotel Band here in Pittsburgh, and we've got just 6 great players and great friends. I mean, I miss these guys. We had one of those, it wasn't Zoom, because this is my first Zoom. It was some other thing that they walked me through and taught me how to do, and we all got to see each other for the first time in like 5 weeks. So Fred DeLue, our keyboard player, and if I could mention Greg McEltrott, our drummer, and Jay Mack and Timmy Hadley, Eddie Johnett, Eugene Perry on bass. We have such a great group of guys, and they're great players. Their talent's way beyond. I'm like a blue collar guy. I scratch and claw and get it done, but they're just gifted and trained and sophisticated in music. So it's very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. It just brings back like memories for me. And my stepdad fancied himself an acoustic guitarist, and
Ah,
he could strum pretty good, but he used to he used to just make up the funniest stuff. And there were so many great memories for me growing up. It was just my dad out there strumming his guitar, making up silly songs, and he would have.
oh yeah.
He's still around, but he would say he's like, I'm just a painter that likes to play music.
Isn't that wonderful though?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, a
It's
lot of our memories are from that, like the really strong, important times of our life. Like for me, a lot of them have their own soundtrack.
yep, yep. I had a grandfather that played the mandolin and sang, and he would come and visit us all the time and sit on our front porch, and all the neighbors would come over. He would play for hours, just entertain the neighborhood. And that's my mother's family was very, very, they were either musicians or gamblers, like my dad would say, none of them ever worked for a living. So
Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
that's true too. It is, and it dates back to the early 1900s. Believe me, it's quite a family.
Yeah, but it's hard work to be a musician nowadays. I
Oh
mean,
my, it's a
totally
lot of
different.
work.
Yeah.
It's a
So
lot of
my stepdad brought music into our life. We weren't really a musical family, but I play accordion and my brother was on the drum.
Ah,
So a
that's
loud
cool.
house.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. I'm not very good, but I
Yeah.
know where the keys are, so
As long as you have fun and
yeah.
it brings joy, that's all that matters.
Absolutely. Well, I just thank you so much for taking the time
Thank
to
you,
get to
Jackie.
know us.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed it very much. I love Rainbows and Lightning, and I hope other people go check it out on on iTunes and shop and Spotify and everywhere that
All
music's
those
found.
places.
Any parting words or anything else you'd like to
No,
share?
I want to send out my thoughts and prayers to everybody during this time. To stay safe, and for those folks that have that have this horrible disease, we sure pray that they get better. And a lot of families are struggling tremendously. So that's all I want to say is just want to hope everybody's okay.
Oh,
So
thanks so much.
zoom me in again sometime.
I will. I will. It was nice meeting you. I'll chat to you
Nice
again
meeting
soon.
you.
Bye.
Thank you, Jackie. God bless.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.